Going to be some bonus coverage of another AD2L matchup that's still going on in one of the lower playoff brackets. This is one of the entry-level brackets, and this is between Team Gemini and Cobra Boys. So I am not actually in a broadcaster position for this game, so I'm not going to have all the same controls that I typically do, but we'll have a sneak peek on them, see what they're up to. I know that game one was won by Cobra Boys, who are currently being played, or who are currently playing the Dire team. So just kind of going through, getting a feel for who's still out there.
Invisibility.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Xylopia, I don't
Radiant's middle tower
recall.
is being attacked.
I do remember Polyrhythm. He's trying to make a rotation on KC in the mid lane here, and he's able to do it, so they do secure first blood for Team Gemini, but it's a 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day, with Lina falling and the Crystal Maiden falling. And as we saw in the previous game with the heroic level matchup between Sanity's Eclipse and Kick-Ass Patrol, Crystal Maiden is very explosive, in the sense that if you touch her, you explode. Or she explodes. That kite looking to get a little farm in himself down here in the bottom lane. He's sitting at second in the net worth chart and first in the last hits. Xylopia taking out the... Oh, Magnus gets away saying that he had 2 HP getting away from KC's mid lane aggression. The 17% Space Cow, as we discussed in Twitch chat before, it's being played by Team Gemini here. And he's taking up the top lane against the tri-lane of Sonic's, Wayne's World, and Loose Pus. It's a difficult lane to be in, so he's just going to look to probably soak up experience until he hits 6 and try to rotate out. V440, kind of forcing Robin's socks back a little bit. Trying to provide some space for Kite to farm. Cobra Boys smoke up on the 2 supports and rotate into the middle lane, where they're looking to make sure that KC does not get robbed again, and the 2% or the 2 HP escape does not happen. Very patiently waiting for Magnus to show his face here. They're still sitting in that top area, and the smoke fades off. They do ping him out. Big ultimate coming out from Magnus, catches 3. And Team Gemini rotate up Kite, the Spirit Breaker, and the Crystal Maiden. So there's 4 heroes sitting in the mid lane on the Dire side, or the Radiant side, and they're able to drop the 3 Dire heroes.
Dire's middle tower is under siege. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So guys, I'll throw it on directed camera here for just a second because I'm trying to deal with some of the video on demand stuff.
Radiant has fortified its structures. Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Sorry, guys. The not so glamorous life of a caster is before and after each of the games, when you have to deal with the video on demand editing and stuff of that nature. So that is what I am working on now.
You got lucky. Stop shaking.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked. I know. I don't care either.
Be able to stand up to the Viper.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Get!
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
My hexes die!
Radiant's top tower is under attack. I only mentioned it as a conversation starter. How are you doing otherwise? Radiant's top tower is under siege. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Bad news for you fans of towers out there.
Alrighty. Let me turn off my open mic, so I'm not annoying these guys in the spectator chat. And we're back.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
A lot of stacked camps for Loose Pus to pick up here. Now that he's level 6, throwing out the call down. And I believe he'll have another stack. Nope, just the one. Because I know that's one thing that the supports on Cobra Boys do pretty well, especially if they have someone who can make significant use of it, like a Shadow Fiend or a Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter being one of their favorite pickups. They like to stack the camps and let him get that huge gold surge, and you can see it jumped him above the troll, and it significantly put him above the troll in terms of last hits.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Spirit Bear charging into Casey as he runs towards the rune, and with Lion chasing after him as fast as he can, he actually gets himself in position to be hit by the Light Strike Array as well. And Casey, with his dying breath, throws out the Laguna Blade into Magnus, and Loose Pus is able to rotate, but a little too late. He throws out a rocket, but it'll hit with insignificant damage, and no damage to follow up on it. Robin Suck looking to stack this camp here by the looks of it. And
Regeneration!
much success.
My thanks.
Be able to get that side camp as well with gyro pulling. And that's what I was talking about. This Cobra Boys team, even if they're behind slightly on the scoreboard right now, in terms of net worth, they're still within 1,000 at the 13-minute mark. With the previous game I just cast between Sanity's Eclipse and Kick-Ass Patrol, at this point in both games, both Game 1 and Game 2, Sanity's Eclipse had about a 10k net worth lead on their opponents.
Dire's bottom tower
Spirit
is
Space
under
Cow
siege.
Bear charging in, but a number of supports sitting behind KC so they don't commit too much. Crystal Maiden rotated up throughout a Frostbite, but right now they're just kind of throwing jabs, seeing how one another react and seeing how they position so that they can get a little bit of intel and maybe catch one person overextending. Lena spots out that invisibility rune, but she knew that when she had rotated up there before, she got spotted out. And with Magnus charging forward, she doesn't want to risk getting caught out by that Spirit Bear again. Or Spirit Breaker, not Spirit Bear. Sorry, Lone Druid on the mind. Lion on Magnus rotates into the woods, pops that invisibility rune. Now he's looking to get into position to catch a couple of these heroes out. He did get hit by the Dragon Slave, so he may be hesitant as to whether or not they have vision on him, but with the creep wave not identifying him and that Dragon Slave being slightly off the mark, I think he knows that he's okay. He pops the reverse polarity, charges them back to the high ground where all of his allies are waiting, and Polyrhythm had already begun the cast of her ultimate. Robin Sox taking a very aggressive approach through the mid lane and does get caught out by Xylopia's ultimate, and then he charges forward to catch Wayne's World. And that's a 4-for-0 trade going towards Team Gemini.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's about 1,000 gold lead heading their way, and that is going to start to bend that net worth curve up into their favor, and with the tower even more so. Wait for it to refresh here. Still continuing to climb, pretty much a vertical climb. Meanwhile, Loose Boss continuing to do as much as he can. He's still in the lead of net worth, but the following 4 players behind him are all Team Gemini, so right now there's a lot of eggs in the gyrocopter basket, with even Crystal Maiden having a higher net worth than the Lena at this point. Part of that coming from the Midas, part of that coming from that last big team fight. She's able to catch Robin Sox out, but Robin Sox surges away, and this time it's Cobra Boys who are the aggressors, able to catch the 2 supports out from Team Gemini, but they overextend a little bit and start to lose some supports of their own. They lose the Witch Doctor and the Lena, but Gyrocopter and his gold advantage show up to turn the tides of the fight. Drops a call down on multiple heroes, followed up by a rocket barrage, and with Ion Shell sitting on top of him as well, he's doing substantial amounts of AoE damage, and makes it a 5-for-2 wipe, recurving it in favor of Cobra Boys. But heavy rotations coming out from Team Gemini here, and it looks like they are going to be able to catch out Sonics, with the 2 supports doing the bulk of the damage. Magnus did get glimpsed back to the fountain, which is always, I think, one of the funnest things that you can possibly do in Dota, is play Disruptor, watch someone teleport to a tower, and go, fuck you, back to base. And you send them all the way back, because then their scroll's on cooldown, so they have no choice but to waddle their way back to whatever lane they want to get to. So, but the Crystal Maiden and Earthshaker were still there and still had enough damage between the 2 of them to drop the Disruptor. here, and a Gyro and Darkseer ult together could change this game, and yep, it can. And you can see that, I mean, pretty much everyone on the Cobra Boys team, this is a lineup that they've run before. They like to run this lineup where you bring them all together and drop the house on them combo. They've done it with Darkseer, Naga, but yeah, the vacuum into the Maledict, which is, you can see that he's putting points into Maledict over Voodoo Restoration already. Into Light Strike Arrays, and Dragon Slaves, Disruptor Alts, and of course the big wombo combo being the vacuum into Call Down. And you can see with the timings, that's kind of what's happened. They lost the early game a little bit, and they're still down on kills 15-10, but that last engagement was pretty telling of where this fight's about to start going, I think. Where, yeah, sure, they lost a Witch Doctor and Alina, but they were able to team wipe and take that mid-tier 1 tower in response for that, so it was a big swing back in their direction. Now they're in position to defend this tower, and oh, Radiant do have vision on the rock there, so they're going to know that they're defending, but they're not going to see this rotation into their own jungle, and they catch Lion out in multiple ults and a Light Strike Array. The glimpse from Sonic saving his life as Spirit Breaker did decide to charge onto him, and a big call down landing on 4, finishing him off with the Witch Doctor ult also being dropped in the middle of things. They almost finish off Lion's Magnus, but he's gonna stumble home with 150 HP, and with just a little bit of regeneration here, it looks like Sonic, who was the only one who took any real damage in that engagement, is going to be back up to full health, or relatively close to full health, and Cobra Boys continue to push down the bottom lane, and that's another tier 1 tower in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They're all here, they all have decent amount of mana, full health, so they're going to look to pressure this tier 2 tower as well. I hear the rotation coming in from Lion. He only catches out Loose Pus, and he immediately rocket barrages, and there's the fountain glimpse, so you're going to see him all the way back at base, going, God damn it, this frickin' disruptor every time as he walks his way back to base. So more damage is being done, but now the charge coming in on KC, they need to back up and make sure they back up together, because Team Gemini are getting into position. Line blinks forward, but he's Yulesed up by KC and dropped back down into Sonic's ult. Witch Doctor gets clipped by the stampeding Spirit Breaker, who's diving onto KC. The what you call it, the heal thingy, mechanism, that's the word I'm horribly struggling to find, and Loose Pus does fall to the tower, but mechanism was popped, and that gave KC enough health to survive the initial charge of Spirit Breaker, turn, toss Laguna Blade, and it's a 3-for-2 encounter. They did lose Gyrocopter, which at this point is a pretty big deal, as he's significantly in the lead on net worth. So you want to be careful about that, but they did some damage. They took out a core, 2 supports. They're still letting this catapult beat away at this tier 2 tower in the bot lane. It's so annoying when what happens when you forget the names of simple items like a mechanism. Like, you know, it's that item that does the Healy stuff. It's in like every game you've ever seen in Dota. You know the thing. It's that thing that you put on your feet, and it makes your hero guy move the faster. Oh yeah, boots. Stupid nonsense like that. But it's annoying when it happens in game and you can't think of it and you're just playing by yourself. It's way worse when you're trying to cast the game. 'Cause you're like, oh, I'm supposed to know what the hell I'm talking about. That's the whole reason that people are listening to me. But nope, I forget just as much. Yeah, the disruptor glimpses are hugely annoying unless you're the one dealing them out. If you're the one dealing them out, it's the funnest thing in the game.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
Vanguard's a tough one for you. See, Vanguard I'm always pretty quick with, just because I've played a lot of heroes that pick it up. Wayne's World getting clipped here as Xylopia charges forward onto the loose butts, but he had vision on him the whole time. And so Casey and Gyro are going to be there to catch him out and stall him out. Meanwhile, Robin Sox, Wayne's World rotate, drop Queen of Pain, and now the remainder of Cobra Boy's turn, and here comes the big Wombo Combo AoE team fight synergy that Cobra Boys have played in the past. Got 8 seconds on Glimpse, so Dakai trying to get away, but Kinetic Field is there, Yules is there, he's not going to get too far. And now Glimpse is on cooldown, so they're going to catch out Line as well. Coconut coming out from Witch Doctor, and Line gives them one last middle finger, knowing he's going to die. He turns, faces his maker, and charges into the entirety of the Cobra Boys team, who are now grouped up. Again, fairly decent health. All of their cooldowns are off though, so they have no ultimates across any of their heroes currently. But you don't need ultimates to right-click down a tower, and that's what they're going to do.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I have played Dota for I don't know how many years. I was playing it back in pure Warcraft 3, like before, I think it was Reign of Chaos expansion pack for Warcraft 3 came out, so it has to have been like 10 years. It was back when Dota, like which side you played on, Radiant or Dire, determined what pool of heroes you had to pick from. So it was very strange back then. You had people playing Lich King, and Lich King could summon this massive skeleton army. Pit Lord was a hero who could, he had like Wraith King's Resurrection and some other stuff. Ooh, but Team Gemini fighting through the AoE of Cobra Boys, who may have been feeling a little too bold, and they do a counter wipe that's worth 300 gold to the Radiant side, and you can see the chart curving back towards them. But why am I not pro and playing for EG? I have never really dedicated myself to playing pro Dota. At one point I was in like the 4,500 range, I think 4,300 was actually where I was at, and it was fun, but I could never really find the right group of people to play with regularly, people to play with seriously, and the team I was on at the time, we played for a while, and it quickly became a thing where we were all willing to play any role, and we didn't really have a captain. We all just kind of piloted the team by committee until eventually a couple people stopped playing, and since we had no true recruiter and no true captain, we just kind of went, well, what do we do now? And we didn't have an answer. So I play Dota casually. I play it to have fun. It's a game for me, and I like casting. It's something I've been doing for a year or two now. I just started my own stream a couple months ago, a month or two ago. So I'm really looking to build up my fan base here. I used to cast with Travdude quite a bit. I've cast a number of, when Sneaky Nyx Assassins was still a pro team, I cast a lot of their games. And so that was fun. I got, you know, one of the broadcaster spots for pro matches and everything else. I know, it's strange. I have fun on Dota. There's plenty of tears and pain in Dota as well, but I don't know. When I see a great play,
Dominating.
the mic did go mute.
Was it worth your life to try for my horn?
Double kill.
And as I plug it in, I miss a double kill in the top lane.
Those people had family. Double kill.
Where the hell are they? Oh, they're diving like crazy people.
Homicide.
Holy crap. Oh god, there's the tier 1 tower. Oh, nope, it's past the tier 2. I see a couple people here. Nope, they're in the tier 3 tower. So, huge dive coming out from Team Gemini. And they're able to pick off 3, it looks like, in exchange for 3, but that's 2 supports and a Darkseer for an Earthshaker, Magnus, and Spirit Breaker, and that's not worth it. What have you accomplished with that? You've provided space for your Crystal Maiden to farm the jungle. 'Cause that's literally all that's happening right now. Dot Kite is getting into position, but space created. You're welcome, CM. The BKB CM.
Illusion.
Ooh, but Casey got Magnus's killing streak. Looks like he's going to get Dot Kite. Oh, but he has his BKB now, so he tries to make the turn. Robin Sox blinks forward, tosses a surge onto Wayne's World, who's getting body blocked by Darkseer at the moment, but he falls back to the safety of the remainder of his team. And now they regroup, and it looks like they're going to push the mid lane. Not sure why they would do this and not some other lane that still has a tier 2 tower in it. But to each their own. Dark Fiend, Frenzy, thank you for joining the stream and tuning in. Team Gemini smoking up, flanking around. They are able to catch out the Witch Doctor, but a huge vacuum call down. Oh, catches pretty much all of them. Dot Kite sprinting around trying to juke through the jungle, but Glimpse is going to bring him back into the danger zone. And now all that's left is Magnus, who popped his reverse polarity kind of off to the side of the entire skirmish. And they'll chase him down pretty easily, drop him, and now they have a clear road up the middle lane. Bye back. Nobody on the Radiant side has buyback, so they pop the glyph to see if they can buy enough time for Earthshaker to get up, but the first 3 heroes up on the Radiant side are going to be Earthshaker, Crystal Maiden, Spirit Breaker, and they're not going to be up in time to save any of these racks. So, right around that 20-minute mark, Cobra Boys came into their own and were able to start executing their mid-game strategy, their wombo combo, and now they are officially up 1 set of racks. At that point, they were down 15 to 10, I believe, and they hadn't taken a single tower. Now they lead on towers, and they've taken a racks, and they've even... Why is this not letting me jump around? There we go. Map was unresponsive for me, but they rotate over to the Roshan pit, and they're going to be able to drop this Radiant. Do ping it out, they know it's happening, but they're not going to be able to get to it in time. They're trying, they're rotating. But now Loose Pus picks it up on the gyrocopter. If he picks up this double damage, he does, but the Radiant team has already kind of fallen back there, waiting to see what Cobra Boys does. Thanks, Dark Fiend. I try to make it exciting. The camera work is something I've been working on. I think I'm getting better at it. So, the game 2 between Sanity's Eclipse and Kick-Ass Patrol was definitely a challenge because Sanity's Eclipse were averaging about 2 kills a minute. So I know I missed some there, but you're not gonna catch them all. I know that much. My goal is to make sure I catch first blood every game. That was kind of my first camera goal for myself. I'm used to actually, before I started my own channel, I was always the number 2 caster, and so I could focus on looking up statistics and pulling up fight comps, pick rates, and doing post-fight analysis and everything like that. So, yep, registration's open for Season 9. That begins October 1st. I think it's October 1st. Let me double check that. Yep, October 1st. The slow siege pressure coming out from Cobra Boys as they sit on the high ground here and just explode wave after wave of Radiant NPCs. And it's forced Team Gemini to kind of hole up in their base and wait. So at one point this net worth breakdown was Gyrocopter on top, followed by Troll, Magnus, Spirit Breaker, Crystal Maiden. And then some of the other heroes, like I think Lena was after the Crystal Maiden at that point. But now with these fights, Loose Pus does get caught out by Magnus a little bit, but the vacuum into the silence is preventing any real rebuttal from Team Gemini, and they are able to drop the gyrocopter, but with the Aegis, he's immediately back in the game. Troll took a significant amount of damage, so he had to fall back to the well himself to get healed back up, and it's going to be the second set of racks and a likely GG call coming out here relatively quickly from Team Gemini. This is the second game between these two teams, and so this will be the series, the set for Cobra Boys, as they've won game 1. So if they win game 2 here, and they're looking to get the team wipe, there it is. If they win this, they'll have won the entire match.
Radiant's middle tower is under siege. Radiant's bottom tower has been destroyed.
Stats for the birds. I'm here to see sick Dota action. I like it.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
First tier 4 fallen here. Xylopia's charging in. The vacuum catches 3, but EV440 drops a pretty decent Echo Slam, catching 3 himself. And Disruptor rotates in. His kinetic field, his ultimate slightly off the mark, so he'll go down. Maybe he won't go down? He's getting body blocked by the Magnus, and yep, they do finish him off, so... That's a 3 for an Earthshaker trade, but they've already lost top racks, mid racks, and a tier 4 tower. Are there any higher leagues than the EU Open? Any North American league is better than the EU Open. Boom, zing. North America Dota. What? Alright, sorry. I had to. North American fanboy here. But I don't know how the skills are ranked and everything. I know there's the Champion League. I think it's Champion League in AD2L. What? I don't Kappa. Ain't no Kappa on the Darmin channel. Dota's serious business. But nah, there's the all I know is the North American scene for AD2L specifically, and that's entry level, and then of course I'm gonna forget it now that I'm trying to think about it, but it's entry level, heroic, and then champion are the 3 different tiers. Team Gemini desperately trying to defend their base, but right now the creeps are flooding in from mid and top. They're trying to push them out just a little bit to prepare for this inevitable push in the bottom lane from Cobra boys. Both teams have vision on the high rock there, but they don't see the smoked heroes, so if Magnus on the line does jump onto this gyrocopter, he's going to get punished for it. Entire team smoked up. Gyro does rotate up a little bit, seeing if he can catch someone out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. It's probably nothing to worry about.
Oh yeah, Britt? Tell that to EG. They dive onto look like the Disruptor, and that kind of messed things up for them, because now the entirety of Here Comes the Cobra, who are relying on that Disruptor combo. Oh, the smoke is popped to try to disjoint the missile, but it's not going to be enough. The tier 4 tower does drop. The last tier 4 tower for Radiant does drop, and so it's a team wipe for Crystal Maiden, who tried desperately to disjoint that missile. I don't know if her Blink Dagger was off cooldown. She might have been able to get back to the fountain if it was. And now's their opportunity. They have 20 seconds to defend their mid lane, defend their top lane, regen back to full, push through at least a tier 2 tower, push through a tier 3 tower, a set of racks, and the tier 4 towers, and make this a base race. EG lucky, huh? I will say that I was a fan of CDEC Gaming before like the qualifiers and everything, because they were in a couple other smaller tournaments, and they were looking just crazy good as soon as this patch hit. Like, they started picking up Lesh and just stomping teams, like in 20 minutes, with just a Lesh that would snowball wildly out of control. And even when it got banned on them, they still seemed to have an answer, but they had some of the best Lesh plays that I hadn't seen in quite a while. And I knew they wouldn't get Lesh as often as they did in the small tournaments in TI, but they still put on a pretty solid performance. And I've actually won several arcanes from them through betting on AD2L, because they are always the underdogs. They were the underdog in every single match in the International. People just don't expect CDEC to win. I think that might start to change now that they have a little bit more notoriety, but I was happy for them because they were a relatively small name coming out of Southeast Asia, and they did work. Heard the new alliance team. No, I haven't checked in on the Dota news from the inevitable aftermath that follows the International, because every year after TI, it seems like every team explodes and then they reform, recombine, and see if they can make another run for it the following year. I'm really happy about what Valve is doing, though, where they're introducing 4 like sanctioned tournaments, like I think they're calling it the major, or the major tournaments, or major leagues, or something like that, where it's 4 tournaments every year, so it's every 3 months. Looks like Cobra Boy's going to rotate back at their second Roche before they push this final lane, which is good pickup. But I forget all the rules for it, but they have a bunch of rules where, like, if you disband your entire team and reform under the same moniker with 5 brand new people but the same old flag, you're not allowed to register for the major tournament. And those major tournaments are going to be where the biggest bucks are, I assume. Looks like Team Gemini are a little bit more serious about defending this one. Earthshaker gets exploded by Alina before he's able to do anything, but Spirit Cow and Dot Kite rocking the BKBs and doing work themselves, dropping the Gyrocopter, dropping the Disruptor and the Witch Doctor, and so it's 2 supports falling for Team Gemini. The Ancient is under attack, and it's just Magnus back here by himself, trying to corral these creeps. But Troll picks up the Aegis, and they still have a fight. Let's see. S4 went back to Alliance. Wait, you haven't heard about Arteezy, Aoi, Zai? No. No, I have not looked at any of the pro circuit stuff here since TI. I've been a little bit busy with my day job and wanted to focus on getting back into casting some AD2L stuff and making my stream, polish some stuff off on my stream, like with my transitions and my overlays and stuff like that. So, and I've been playing a bit of Hearthstone, rocking the new cards there. Aoi got kicked for Arteezy, and Zai is going back to school. What? Arteezy getting in a fight? That doesn't sound like him. Man, you got me curious now. That might be my homework for tonight as I lay in bed. A lot of people read books. Some people watch TV. I'm probably going to read Reddit threads about artesian karaoke. Ugh, I'm a nerd. There's kind of a stalemate here between Team Gemini and Cobra Boys. Line doing a little RP dance. Looks like he's getting close to finishing his refresher. So he'll have the double RP. Crystal Maiden blinking forward. I think just to toy with KC at this point, because he didn't. It looked like Dot and Lion weren't even expecting the blink. So he certainly wasn't looking to do anything aggressive, but just poke him, keep him on his toes. And it certainly did. But right now, Cobra Boy is saying, you know what, let's just defend the high ground. If they try to fight into us, we can close off this ramp very easily with all of our spells. Meanwhile, the rest of the creeps will start funneling into the other lanes, but they're doing a good job of defending their ancient. All of their little meat. Oh, looks like there is some action going on. They try to engage. Dakai pops his BKB. Xylopia pops his BKB and Blade Mail. And again, those BKBs are proving horribly destructive to Cobra Boys. They're going to pick off KC here for the last kill, and it's a 5-man wipe for Earthshaker. Again is the man who falls, but the throne is under serious pressure now as there's 2 huge waves and 4 catapults sitting on it. So the entire Radiant team have to rotate back to deal with these catapults as fast as they can. I mean, they're popping trolls and everything they can to deal with these things. They do save it, but man, that's... They left the base for 10 seconds and that throne almost fell. Let's see. Kroki was trying to tell us. I'm gonna put it on directed camera while I read all the stuff you guys wrote in Twitch chat, because I'm really interested in this now. Cloud9 dispatch. After TI, shit just goes wild. You give me $60,000 for playing Dota 2, you know, that last place prize pool, I'll be like, bitch, we did it! We're winners! Just got paid $60,000 to play a video game. Well, this is getting pretty bloody here, so I'm going to jump back into this game, and I'll read up on all you guys' stuff here in a moment. So it looks like, wow, Rampage coming out on the Witch Doctor, of all people, and GG is called. They must not have buyback. Yeah, no, they got one on Magnus, but... It's so low HP at this point. Spirit Breaker Magnus combo is probably not going to be enough. He gets glimpsed back, so
Radiant's
he's out of there.
ancient
Loose Bus is
under
just
attack.
focusing on the racks, as is the remainder of the team. So Witch Doctor's gonna die here. Casey turns and punishes the Spirit Breaker for killing the rampaging Witch Doctor, and then they turn their focus onto the throne and drop it. So that's gonna be the second win for Cobra Boys, also known as Here Comes the Cobra, and the match win for them. Rampaging Witch Doctor. That's pretty good. Especially at 50 minutes into a game. I mean, maybe that first big team fight, like especially after you get like an Aghanims on them and you drop the totem and everything, you might be able to get it, but to see a 50-minute rampage is pretty gross.